Hello, friends! I want to share the 10 most common questions that I receive in order to help you as you embark on your yoga journey. I hope this video clears up any lingering questions you might be having, but if I do miss something, you can always email me. So the most common question that I hear almost every day is, can I do yoga if I'm not flexible? Or, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. Sometimes it doesn't even come in the form of a question. So the answer is yes. Yoga isn't really about flexibility. It's about showing up and being willing to learn. The poses are just the tools of doing that. Of course, you'll become more flexible over time and you'll see physical benefits, but I think the biggest and best thing to remember about yoga is that it's a practice, which means it never ends. Like, there's no destination, and you always learn something about yourself from practicing. So don't get caught up on the flexibility thing. Another thing that I hear is, I'm too busy. How can I fit yoga into my workday, my school day, my general daily life? I have a really great blog post called 6 Yoga Poses You Can Do at Work Without Looking Ridiculous. It's one of my most popular, so you could definitely check that one out if you want to implement some like stretches and poses into like your desk life, if you have a desk job. But if you're really overly booked and like you have no time in the world, my advice is to bring some awareness to the in-between time during your day. So like as you walk to your next meeting or lunch or to and from your car, wherever you're going to or coming from, focus on your breath or just tune into what you hear. So make the in-between of your day an experience. If you have a longer break, you can take the long way. So like walk a longer way and breathe and take things in and really like experience your environment. And that can be a form of mindfulness and yoga. I'm not sure what time you wake up or how your day might be going, but I find that when I get up like a little bit earlier, not an hour earlier, but like 15 minutes earlier, and get on my mat for a few minutes, it makes my entire day better. Like it shifts everything. In my opinion, there's also something like wildly exciting and quirky and weird, I guess, about keeping a yoga mat in my car and like shamelessly rolling it out during a longer break and moving a little bit. Kind of feels awkward at first. I totally get it, but like you'll enjoy it and you'll feel better, so who cares what everyone else thinks? Another thing you can do is like when you come home at night or if you have a closed office or wherever you are, you can sit on the floor and work and move around as you work. I think a good rule to follow is if you watch TV, you can fit yoga into your day, period. You can do yoga while you're watching TV, is what I mean. It's not to shame like TV watchers. I watch TV. I have a few shows that I like religiously watch. But I sit on the floor while I watch them and move my body around and like kind of self-care multitask, which is kind of weird. But yeah, sit on the floor and move around. Okay, so a funny question that I get from a lot of guys is, isn't yoga just for girls? I never see a lot of guys practicing. While this seems to be true-ish if you go to a studio or class setting, there are a ton of yogi guys on the internet. Like, a ton of really great yogis out there. Really talented, smart, humble people. But I just don't know if you see them a lot depending on where you live or where you might be going to take classes. And honestly, like, gender has nothing to do with yoga at all. Yoga is for everyone if you want to do yoga, regardless of your gender, your race, your size, your age. Like, if you want to do yoga, do yoga. Another interesting one that I get that seems a little tricky when you're a beginner is, how do I modify? I feel like every class is too advanced for me. I also hear, how do I make progress? How do I know if I'm doing it right? How do I get over feeling embarrassed? How do I use yoga props correctly? How do I start flowing? Like all of these questions come up as you start this journey. And the simple answer to all of this is just start practicing and trying new things. So if a pose feels too hard or not accessible right now, break it down. Like, see how you can modify it yourself. You don't need permission from a teacher to know what feels right in your body. So let go of how you think a pose is supposed to look and get curious about your own body. And like, if you want to make progress, just practice. The best way of like getting better at doing something is by doing it, not by constantly thinking about it. Why is yoga so expensive? I hear this all the time. I used to think this. I wanted to find free classes and discounted gear because I was afraid of the commitment. I felt like if I spent a lot of money and it didn't work out, or I'd fall off the wagon, or maybe it's just another hobby that I would get bored with. None of those things were true for me. In fact, I'm here teaching others how to start yoga. So yoga has a price because it is valuable. Valuable things cost money. Like anything else you pay for, you're paying for a good or a service, and yoga is no exception. This practice is transformative and 100% valuable. If you're stuck in like this free mindset, you probably won't get very far. One of my favorite sayings is, if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. So what is yoga worth to you? And that's up for you to decide. But it does cost money, like anything else you probably want to do. Is yoga a religion? So this is an interesting question that I've heard a lot from people. No, you don't have to change religions or adopt a new mystical god in order to practice yoga. You just don't. There are plenty of avenues and realms you can go down to do such if you want, but it's not a religion. It's more of a philosophy. Yoga is an approach to self-development and improvement both of your physical body and your mind. So you don't have to switch religions or join a cult or pray to something you don't believe in order to do yoga. I have knee, back, shoulder pain. Will yoga help? Maybe. If you have serious pain, I don't think yoga is the all-in-one solution. Like, yoga might help, but I believe it's a complementary preventative practice, not a magical cure to your pain. If you have pain in your body, you should talk to your doctor and get curious about that pain. So knee pain isn't just knee pain. Back pain isn't just back pain. There are underlying reasons why that pain is occurring. So I'll tell you a quick story. Last year I had this like crazy nagging lower back pain. I've never had mysterious pains in my body like this, and I was super frustrated because I hadn't done anything to get hurt, which like made it worse. Like, how in the heck am I hurting if I didn't do anything to hurt myself? So what I believe what it resulted from was the way I was holding myself throughout the day over months and months and months. Like, my back was kind of arched and my chest was out, and I was trying to show how badass I was in my career. Like, I had to like really assert myself for years to be seen and noticed and acknowledged. Over time, the tension like accumulated, and my boyfriend called me out on it. We were looking at 2 pictures of me over the course of like 4 or 5 years probably, and he was like, look at how you're standing in these. Like, you're holding yourself totally different. Like, what's up with that? Why did like your whole stance change? And I thought long and hard, and like I knew exactly what he meant. So I kept digging deeper and doing the work to uncover the stuff that I was holding on to, and the pain went away. Like, literally magically, like not magically, but like it went away. So I didn't go to a physical therapist or a chiropractor. I didn't yoga the pain out of my body. And I'm not saying those things are like bad. I'm just saying, for me, I got curious about the pain and looked inside of myself for the answers, and like something happened. Something shifted. So I know it sounds kind of like hippity-dippity and whatever, but that's what happened in my situation. So, long story short, yoga isn't a medical cure-all. Like, it's not. If you go to a doctor and a doctor tells you to do yoga, you might need to question your doctor, because yoga is a huge answer to anything. There are just too many approaches. The yoga world's too big for someone to tell you to do yoga to feel better. Will I ever stop shaking and falling over? So, I shake in poses that I've been doing for what seems like forever. Some days I feel super strong and unstoppable. Other days I fall out of almost every pose and shake the entire time. So in my mind, the answer is no, probably not. If you stop shaking or falling out, you might not be challenging yourself, or you're probably taking it too serious and aren't having any fun and exploring the possibility. So you're not crazy, and you're not the only one who might run into this thought. I'd say there are two answers. Meet yourself where you are and get curious about why you might be feeling shakier than usual. For me, I tend to get shaky or unbalanced when I'm stressed. So trying to rush my practice, or if I'm not present, or my mind is somewhere else completely, if you get pissed off, get pissed off. Walk away for a few minutes, sit down, close your eyes, and just breathe. Give yourself space to experience whatever you're experiencing. Then remember to begin again. So don't get mad and walk away forever and never come back to your mat. The second thing is, as you progress, you could be holding poses longer than before without really noticing, and therefore you're going to shake because your body is progressively getting stronger and you're pushing your boundaries further. So from my experience, regardless of how long you practice, you will shake, you will fall out, you will get frustrated, because after all, it's a practice, and every day is different. Do I have to stop eating meat in order to call myself a yogi? It's quite the controversial question, honestly. There are 8 limbs of yoga and physical practice, which is called asana. That's so weird. There's a project management tool called Asana, so I think I kind of flipped those. But asana is only one limb of the 8 limbs. Ahimsa is another one of the limbs, and it means practicing nonviolence toward all living things. So for some people, this is absolutely hands down, animals included. This is why you may consider veganism if you get really into yoga. Regardless, it's a deeply, deeply personal decision and preference. I myself am not a vegan or a vegetarian in any regard. I love meat, and I only consume local, ethically raised animals. I've made it a hard rule of mine to not contribute to the mass production and industrialization of meat products. So this is personal, and no, in my opinion, you don't have to stop eating meat in order to be a yogi. So seriously though, where do I start? I have tons of people do their research, source videos and guides, and still come up to me asking, where and how do I start? I'm still stuck. And of course I smile and say, just start moving, but I understand where they're coming from. There's a ton of information out there to pull from, and it can be confusing. If you're serious about starting and want to go through a step-by-step process to establish and maintain a healthy and enjoyable practice, I do have a Yoga Basics program. It is a 6-week online course where you learn everything from poses to how to flow. You go through some self-inquiry work, and you join a community of people like you. So you can find more information on my website about that. And of course, you can always email me with any questions you might have about the program specifically. So, you still have questions? If there's anything that I didn't cover that you really, really want to know about, or you can't find a clear answer on Google, let me know. Shoot me an email. I'm here for you. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like more information about my program or want to read some blog posts, head over to my website, HaleyHeischman.com. I'd love to support you on your journey. If you want to share your progress with me, you can use the hashtag YogaBasicsLove on Instagram and tag me at Haley Heischman. So that's all I've got. Good luck.